Colour in Your Life is proudly sponsored by Hobbycraft stores across the UK. For more information, go to hobbycraft.co.uk. G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do. Okay folks, how are you? Well, welcome to the mountains of Snowdonia in Wales. Fantastic to be here. Colour in Your Life, crossing the oceans and coming to the UK with the help of some fantastic people over here. But I specifically do have to thank Hobbycraft, the organisation that basically has art and craft shops right across the United Kingdom. They have stepped up to the plate through Ian Walton and Leon Bowen and have put together a series of fantastic artists for us to come over and start the series in the United Kingdom. We really appreciate what they've done, and it's enabled us to be able to start the series in the UK. And as you can see, some fantastic places. We're visiting some amazing artists, and it's because of this company that we've been able to do this. So Hobbycraft, thank you, A1, and we really, really appreciate it. I went into one of the stores of the 89 that are located across the UK and met up with the management of the Chester store. Hobbycraft have a huge variety of products, well over 25,000. And not only do they sell some of the best brands, they also conduct workshops and art competitions across all of their stores. The range of art supplies is extensive, from oils to acrylics, watercolours, pencils, easels, and a huge range of ready-made canvases as well. Whether you are a novice or a professional artist, Hobbycraft is there to advise and assist, not just the individual artist, but art groups of all kinds right across the UK. Their mission is to inspire and encourage the passion and pleasure that the creative mind can be. Drop in and say hi and catch up with the team at hobbycraft.co.uk. Well, hi folks, welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we are in Wrexham in Wales in the United Kingdom, and I am with a young lady, Jacqueline Kiff. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
great to be here. Now, Jacqueline, originally started your career was sort of a little bit by accident because of a wrist. You broke your wrist.
I broke my wrist.
Yeah, got it quite a while back, and it took a while to get over, but once you had done that, you actually started doing, to stop you from going mad, you started painting and drawing.
I did.
And started doing people's animal portraits,
Yep.
horses, a whole bunch of different things. And then as you moved on, you decided you really wanted to do what it was going to be about, and you ended up doing a Fine Arts Honours degree.
That's right.
At Glendore University
Yep.
in Wrexham, which is pretty cool. But tell me how that all came about, and particularly your love of the old masters. I mean, you love Caravaggio's work.
I do.
And I think today you're probably going to take us through a little bit of what Caravaggio probably did in his own career, but tell me a little bit more about that.
While I was at university, I was doing a lot of abstract painting. It's a fine art course, trying different techniques and different media, but in my heart of hearts, I know I'm a classical person.
Sure.
You know, so I wanted to research classical painting. I'd been to a Caravaggio exhibition in London, and I loved his paintings so much, and I wanted to find out how he went about from start to finish creating his paintings. So I went online to YouTube and all these forums and just researching how Caravaggio would have painted one of his paintings.
Yeah.
And I just copied a small portion of one of his paintings, taken of Christ, using those techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gone on to paint a few more paintings using those techniques, and I think that's my way forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's fascinating. You're actually painting one of your friends today called Julie.
Yes.
And you obviously like characters with a lot of character in their faces, without a doubt. But I'm going to step out of shot, as I normally do, and I'm going to let Jacqueline start the whole process. You're going to see some sort of fairly traditional stuff. This is fine arts degree from university art, so and it's very traditional, very classical, but it's going to be very interesting. So I'll get out of shot and I'll let Jackie take over.
Okay.
Okay, Jackie, now how do we start this portrait of Julie? What do you do to get it going?
Right, well I've had some MDF board cut, it's 6mm deep, and I've prepared my drawing. I use a grid to get the accuracy. I have an app on my tablet that actually does a grid for me. So I print off the picture with the grid on it already and then just transfer all the information over to my board. But there is also just on your basic package on tablet or phone, a sketching application, so you can actually turn a photograph into a sketch, gives you all your bold lines to transfer, so either or I would use, but the grid works for me best.
It's using technology with the traditional approach.
It is, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And this is the photograph that I'm going to be working off.
Okay.
I like working off photographs because your image stays still. All the information's there, the colours are there. They don't change with lights and things like that. It's just easier for me to work off, makes more sense.
Excellent.
Okay, but I'm going up to A4, so I've printed onto an A4. I'm painting with acrylics, so I'm going to start with a Stay Wet palette, and I've just put some water in the well. There's a membrane in there. It's a little bit spongy and it holds the water in, keeps the paints cool, and then there's another membrane on top that I put my paints onto. And also because it's quite warm, I'm going to use some medium gel, and it's slow drying, so it slows down the drying time of the acrylic paints. But I still find that the actual acrylic drying medium does still dry the paints fairly quickly. So in actual fact, I mixed these with some hair gel, which does the same thing, but it actually slows the paints down just a little bit too much. So I find mixing the two together, I get exactly what I want. And it just allows me to blend the paints, because acrylics aren't easy to blend anyway, but these help me to blend the paints together.
So the hair gel, where did that sort of pop up from?
Word of mouth. I mean, people say to go to the chemist and get a particular gel, and I find this one works perfectly for what I need.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to start blocking in the painting with just a skin tone. I'm not too worried about the skin tone initially, because what I do, I start my paintings with acrylic as an underpainting, and then afterwards I'll go over using oils. So I have a red, a yellow and white for my basic skin tones. So I'm just, as I say, looking to block in, and it stops the oil paints from sinking. And what this means is if too much of the oil paint's absorbed into your surface that you're working on, it becomes very chalky. So underpainting in acrylics is the way to go. I'm just mixing up a basic skin tone.
So do you mix the gel in with that right now, or?
Yeah, I want a fairly pink and some with a bit more yellow. It's not going to be very accurate, it's just the first layer.
Just to block in?
Yep, but I'm not too concerned about it at the moment, at this stage. It's just getting a layer on there to work on.
So the whole painting process, particularly with you painting traditional, well, you know, when you did your honours degree, they obviously gave you choices on what you wanted to do, but that really traditional style is something that really meant something to you.
It is. Yeah, I mean, my taste in art is very eclectic, just as my taste in music, but when it comes to my own personal, how I like to work, it's very much the classical. For me, you know, it's my escapism. You know, I know what's out there, and I can just lose myself in a painting. I can't do that with abstract art. I do enjoy doing abstract art, or, you know, playing with media collage and things like that, but for me, this is my escapism very much. So I get lost in the zone, as they say. But
I think that that's what art is meant to do.
It's got to be what it makes you feel inside, and you have to be true to yourself. I mean, I could probably do some very quick paintings and be selling loads of quick paintings, but I would rather spend weeks and weeks on one painting and get something out of it, because it is from me. And if somebody else gets something out of it at the end, that's great. But initially it is for me and what I get out of it. You know, it's therapeutic. Because there's so many different colours in the hair, I'm actually going to start with a very pale colour. There's also purples and reds and oranges, and I really want to focus on those colours, which is why I chose Julie for painting in the first place.
Sure.
So I'm just going to start mapping just some of the areas. Now this is literally just the first base.
Yeah.
mapping out where I'm going to go. I like to work in glazes,
Yeah.
so I want to leave as much of the light as I can. So if I work in thin layers, I can start streaking out the underpainting, the undercolour.
With the uni that you got your degree at, Galindor, beautiful old building.
It is.
You do work with mental health care for dementia patients.
It started out as an 8-week course, but it just seemed so unfair to take it away from them after such a short time, so we requested to keep it running. So there's a small group of us goes in, and basically we've set up an art group for them, and it's about providing a positive atmosphere for them. So each time we come back, they may not remember our names, they may not even remember the activity that we did, but they will remember how they felt when they see us. They would have a recognition, so they would remember that we provided a happy, secure, safe environment. That's what they remember. So with the physical disabilities that I had after my accident, art changed my life. I've been working in pharmacy before, and now I'm an artist.
That's wonderful, isn't it?
It's different than that. I'm exactly where I want to be, and I just feel the need. I want to give something back, and I feel as though I am. And I definitely want to do some more work with art therapy, because there's definitely a thing.
Absolutely, passing on the legacy,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Just wanted to talk about the picture Sunset Breeze, which was a beautiful piece that you did of a horse, and you said you originally took the photo at sunset. Is that correct?
It was this one evening we'd gone up to see him, and the sun was just setting, and it was a really good photograph. You see how well this slow drying medium works, because the paint underneath is still wet.
Okay, well, that's
Normally
good.
it'd be dry by now.
So you can still blend quite successfully,
Yeah.
with obviously keeping the acrylics moist all the
Yes.
way through.
Yeah.
Do you use a spritzer at all at any stage?
I don't know. I find this is enough.
So is there any reason that you decided to paint that portrait that close to the edge of that particular piece of board?
Well, when I was doing my research into classical painting and the old masters, it's all very well learning the techniques, but you hear it all the time. Classical art is dead, classical painting's dead, the old masters, you know, the dark backgrounds and everything. So I just wanted to get on board with those who, like myself, don't believe it's dead at all. It's still beautiful. But to bring it away from the darkness, the dark backgrounds that the old masters used to paint and things like that. And there seems to be a theory. David Hockney seems to be asking questions about that, so I'm going to be researching more into David Hockney's theory, the secret knowledge of the old masters.
Just have to do swimming pools a lot, that's all.
Yeah, so I've kind of just tried to swing the other way and keep my backgrounds as light as possible. That's what I'm working on at the moment. And even when I was creating some of these other paintings, I just had white in mind, so keep the background as white as possible. Chances are I'll probably do something with the background of this painting, but for now I think I'm going to keep it white. Just focus on the portrait, which is what I want my work to be about anyway, just focusing on the portrait rather than lots of stuff going on in the background.
Well, because your work is very meticulous, and it does take a long time to do.
Yes, it does.
You have very graciously have done a number of studies of Julie, so that we can actually move through, because it would take some time. I mean, obviously we have limited time to film. And
it would. They take weeks to do.
So we can, when you're ready, you can actually change to the next one, which is obviously more down the track. And I think that you probably want to start explaining a bit more about the glazes on the next piece as well.
Yeah. So I've moved on to another stage. I've done the painting in several stages because, as you can see, it does take a long time building up in thin layers. So I'm at a stage now where I've done the blocking in, and I've started to put in some of the glaze colours that I see in the photograph. So I'm just going to carry on with the glazing. I've set up some colours here. I've had a good look at the photograph and studied what colours I can see in the glazing, the purples, the oranges, etc. And I've set up these colours. I'm actually going to use liquin for these glazes now, because Liquid's usually used with oils, but it actually does work with acrylics if you don't use any water. If you don't mix it with any water. I can use white spirit, but it sticks better now. The water's just going to run off with every layer I start to put on top. It'll just start taking the underneath layers off. So with the stickiness of the liquid, we're using that.
Fantastic. Okay. That's a very interesting fact.
It's something I just tried recently,
yeah.
So, and it works.
Well, it obviously works, which is great.
I think I'm going to start with some of these oranges. I love the orange. So we just want it to be a transparent colour.
So those glazes, how long would they generally take to dry before you could actually come back over them again?
The liquid can dry very, very quickly.
Okay. You've also done a copy of a Vermeer. Well, it's not really a copy of a Vermeer, but it is a very iconic painting called The Girl with the Pearl Earring, but you put yourself in there instead.
It is. The first year at university at Glyndŵr, we had two modules. One was called Selfie, and then we had another module called Appropriation, where we would take an iconic piece of artwork and appropriate it, change it in some way to make it our own. So at the end of the first year, I put the two modules together and did the appropriation of Vermeer's painting, Girl with a Pearl Earring, and put myself in it for the selfie, just as my very final piece for the first year.
That's fantastic.
So that's what I came up with.
Wonderful.
I did that in acrylics.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So I'm going to do a little bit of work on the shirt now, start shading him. I've decided to focus all my painting on just the portrait. I'm going to do the rest using Caran d'Ache pencil. Mixing media makes it more interesting, a bit more modern.
I think that particular technique really centres the work right into the face.
Yeah.
Everything else is sort of fairly subtle, and there's brilliant detail. So you were telling me that Julie's an artist as well.
Yes, yeah.
So do you guys get together and have outdoor female soirees, plein air?
We
like
don't.
Like a girls' day out somewhere?
Julie loves photography, and she's trying so many different things. She started in the first year. She was painting when we went to uni, and then she went off. She was doing so many different things. She's got one of those minds that, just the imagination. I use this rubber for a drawing tool as well. I can actually take out some of the pencil to make these highlights in the patterns on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to fade the colour, I'll just use again, Caran d'Ache, putty rubber. It's quite a nice contrast with the colours, isn't it?
Yeah, actually it looks great.
Up.
Actually looks like an old master's study.
For me, using pencils is a bit of a holiday. I can sit in front of the TV, there's no mess, just your pencil, your paper, a rubber, and it is like taking a break, doing graphite drawing.
The technique that she's using at the moment is that the gesso board lends itself to particularly the pencil. Because if you were to do this with canvas, it probably wouldn't turn out as well.
Now that I've tried the boards, I've gone off canvas. I prefer using the MDF boards.
Mm-hmm.
They don't move around.
Nice and solid. You can actually you can poke the board.
They're easy to put a frame on the back of and everything.
Now you've got two pieces around you at the moment, Jackie, that are very textured. The one's called Time Changes, and the other one's called Life's Layers. Now the Time Changes one looks like you've actually got brickwork in there. How did you do that?
That was a trip to a local DIY shop. It's just a sample of wallpaper.
Oh, is that what it is?
It is, and the other texture is a mixture of a thick gesso and builder's sand. There's been all sorts put into that.
Oh, there you go. How about that?
The
And then you just sort of sanded the paper back, and then put the gesso in there to transit into the smoother area.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Collage. But I thought if I'm getting my classical painting, then you have to put some fine art into there as well.
There you go. That's well done. Very well done. So now we're using a Q-tip.
Yeah, another tool of the trade. Anything for blending.
Yeah. So I think, Jackie, the great appeal about a lot of the work that you do is that it really is about the average man and woman on the street.
It is. I made an error of doing my first oil portrait that I did. I'd chosen a photograph that was done by a professional photographer, and after I painted it, it was really flat. A photographer will see beauty in one way, but an artist will see it in another way. I need as much information in the photograph as I can possibly get. I want the true face. I don't want any bright lights thrown in, washing out all the bone structure and the colour. Yeah, I want just a true image of the person's face, and I want to do every single detail that's in that image. Whereas if you start airbrushing photographs, you are taking all the information out, and they do look beautiful, but for me beauty is in the reality of a person's face, the real face, real people.
Well, Jacqueline, absolutely superb. It's great to see that you've been able to show us all the way through your ability today and all of the amazing things that they taught you in university at Glendore here in Wales.
Glendore School of Arts,
Yeah,
School
Glendore
of Creative Arts, they do everything here.
That's fantastic, and obviously you can see all of this knowledge that you've gained has come out in this superb picture of a very good friend of yours called Julie. But thank you so much for being with us today and showing us your amazing skills. It was amazing.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay, fantastic stuff, really was. And we were discussing before about the fact that this is being an artist and the other things that you've done through your life has really changed who you are as a woman.
Yeah.
It's taught you a different side of the world, hasn't it?
It has, it really has. This is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
I'm with the people I'm meant to be with, visiting, meeting some incredible people. There's nothing else I want to do. This is it for me.
But your talents come out. You can sort of see the progression as you've gone through your artistic career, and you've come to a place now where you can paint pictures like this. It's pretty extraordinary. So thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
It's wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Your website details, so people can have a look at what you do.
Yeah, it's jacquikiff.co.uk.
And also, Jackie does workshops. Now, if you're in the area, Wrexham, if you're in the Wrexham area, or even the Chester area or North Wales, and you would like to come along and do some workshops with this very talented lady, go to the website, come in, say hi. Just myself, just watching what Jackie was doing today, it's just quite amazing, and I think that you would get a great deal out of working with her. As I always say, colouryourlife.com.au, come in and see us, lots of things going on. And go to our YouTube page and subscribe button, wherever it might be. Subscribe to just keep up with all of the things we've got going on. Obviously this is CIYL UK, and our team's going to take over. Ian Walton and Leon Bowen are taking over after we head back to Australia, but we've got lots of people all over the world now that are coming part of this, so come along and be part of it as well. But we're going to head out here again. We're off into the mountains, which is pretty exciting, but as we always say, remember, make sure you put some colour in your life. See you later, guys. Bye now. Bye.
Thank you.